We are live, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Chryssie Whitehead, and I am the co-founder of Broadway Arts Community. And we are so excited today to have one of my oldest friends in the business, Abbey O'Brien, and we are still going strong. She is definitely still going strong and making a beautiful creative life for herself. So I'm very excited for whenever you're watching this, that you get to just listen and hear and hope that you relate and resonate. These are Tea for Two chats. They're between colleagues and peers, having a real honest talk about our journey. And tonight we're going to hear from Abbey. So without further ado, Abbey O'Brien, we're bringing in Abbey O'Brien. Hi. Isn't this like so fun?
It's so fun. It's so crazy. Look at technology.
Look at us. Look at us. What's your mug say? I want to know what your mug is for Tea for Two.
My mug says, let's see, Schubert.
Schubert Theater?
So it matches my necklace, if you can see Schubert.
Okay, so
my first Broadway show I ever saw was a chorus line when I was like 10 years old. My parents took me for my birthday. And my first Broadway show I ever got was at the Schubert Theater, same theater. And I got my dog at the time when I was at that theater. His name was Schubert. So
Schubert's not around anymore?
No.
Oh no, when did he go?
This is a great Tea for Two, Chryssie.
Listen. It's good for everybody to see how real it can be. Okay, we'll get to Schubert. That's really sweet. I'm also shocked right now that you saw a chorus line on Broadway? The first chorus line?
Yeah, well, that one went forever.
That's right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're one of the very few of our.
I still have the playbill.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Who was Cassie?
Girl, I don't remember. I was
okay, fine. I thought maybe you had the playbill. I don't know.
I do somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what we're really excited about with Abbey is that Abbey O'Brien started out as a major dancer, phenomenal dancer, and we're gonna get to that. And we actually met. We'll start there, and then we'll go back to where it all begins. But actually, Abbey and I met, which you had to remind me of, which I can't believe it. I was like, what did we do? We did what we did. Will Rogers.
Yes, Will Rogers. Yep, together.
Tall Showgirls together.
So I love that show. Oh, so
great.
Fun. Yep.
Great show. So we met in Sacramento Music Circus, which was like a summer stock, amazing theater. And not even summer stock, not summer stock, but summer ish.
Sacramento.
It's Sacramento.
Another layer up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so Abbey, where are you right now? Tell us where you are.
I am in New York. I've been here for almost 20 years now. It's crazy. I'm from the South, though. I'm a Southern girl. So being here for 20 years is, woo! I wouldn't have expected it.
Really? You wouldn't have expected to be there for 20 years?
Well, I don't know what I expected, to be honest. I just knew I had to move to New York.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Well, we're going to get to that because that's the thing. So you're going back. Where were you born? Because I'm going to pull up. I love doing this. Where were you born?
I was born in Miami, South Florida.
Okay. And where were you raised?
Georgia, Atlanta.
Okay. So here you are.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
It's the cutest.
It's perfect because it's Halloween. Halloween's this weekend. So
it's perfect. Okay. Yeah. So tell us, it's Halloween. Tell us where, put us there. Where are you? How are you feeling? Why that picture? How old are you?
Well, I'm guessing I was probably like 7 there.
Okay.
This was before I started dancing. And you can tell by my knobbed knees. I was probably actually younger than 7, probably like 5 or 6.
Okay.
And this was Halloween in Florida. I was a flapper. I think it was a flapper a couple years in a row because I loved it so much.
I love it too. I dress up as a flapper anytime I can get it. It's like the whole Chicago days. So here's a cute little girl. You haven't been swooped up into dance quite yet. What is your first memory of dance or acting or singing that made you go, I got to do this, or I love this? What was that first memory?
Well, I can tell you how I got into it.
Sure.
And that is, I grew up in a very sports oriented family. My dad played every sport possible, scholarships left and right. And my mom was a tennis player, and my brother played soccer. My sister played tennis. We were all into sports when we were little, but they could not get me to not go into the clubhouse. Like we were in South Florida, as hot as heck. And I just didn't do it. They put me in the sports. I'd go to T-ball and then I'd go sit on the bench. I just did not want to participate. It was too hot for me. It wasn't my thing. My parents found me, took me to tennis. They tried that. I'd end up in the clubhouse with the AC. So then my mom was finally like, let's put her into something with air conditioner. Let's put her into something with air conditioner.
I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, are you saying clubhouse, like dancing club? Like, doof, doof,
oh, no. Like, sports clubhouse. So then she put me into dance where there was air conditioner, and instantly fell in love. Instantly. There was no, it was my home right off the bat.
Now, why do you think that is? Because there's so many of us that have that, right?
Yeah, I think there's something about the arts, especially dance, that there's this female camaraderie that I hadn't really experienced before. And I really loved it. It made me feel connected in a different way that my family did.
Yeah.
And we all enjoyed the same thing.
Yeah. I love that you said female camaraderie.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, for me, because I did it when I started, I was like 3, 4, and 5. And all I had was just this one example of a dance teacher that looked like Dolly Parton, but like even bigger and like red hair. And she smiled, I'm from the South too. I'm from South Carolina. And she just tapped like this and said, come on. And I was like, this is the best ever. She's the best ever. So I guess maybe even just like a woman showing joyful in dance. Did you take tap first or ballet or all of it? Jazz.
Hence me being a jazz dancer.
Yeah.
It was just in my soul. Just it was what it was.
Did you dance with Tyler at his studio?
Tyler and I danced together at high school.
Y'all went to the same performing arts high school.
We were partners.
I did not know that. And I saw that
But we did go to the same dance studio center stage back in the day when I moved to Georgia. That was my first studio. And then I left.
I remember center stage.
Yeah.
Wait.
I ended up going to Rhythm Dance Center in Atlanta. Marietta. They're still there. Yeah.
Right. Wait. Did we talk about this? Is this the jump everybody?
Yeah.
Wait, y'all. We both went to the same, we both were in different dance studios in the South, and we showed up at the dance competition, and we both had the same, right?
Yep. Same dance, same costume.
Same dance, same costume, same Converse. And when we say same costume, we're going to say orange and purple.
Same.
Can you believe that?
But just to be clear, we won.
I can't even remember. That's amazing. Y'all were like, we got it. Listen. I mean, it's so funny. So people watching this, especially those who are in the competition world, right? You just don't know. That's what I loved about the competition world, is that we saw really amazing other dancers from other studios, right? That you would end up working with later on down the line. So competition, schmompetition, it's really inspiring. So you started competing, you started doing all that, jazz dancing galore. You mentioned to me earlier about Jola and Terry. So when did you first meet him?
Let's see. Interesting. Well, his classes, really. I never did his competitions or anything, but when I moved to New York, I was like pounding the pavement, taking classes, and Joe's was one of my all-time favorite classes, like many years.
Pause. We have to go back. How the heck did you say, we got to know, somebody's watching right now and they're going, so she just moved to New York. I mean, how do you move to New York? Students are like, well, you went from Georgia to New York. So where was that thought process? What did you do? What did somebody say something to you? Did you say you wanted to go to college? Like, can you walk us through that a little bit in high school?
Yeah. So high school, I went to performing arts school. It was my mostly my first experience with musical theater. And, you know, when I was in Florida at Mrs. P's dance studio, I did take vocal lessons here and there. And we did try and do a little acting, but it wasn't as substantial. And so at Pebblebrook, they really kind of put me through the ringer with musical theater and understanding what that was. And then
sorry, say that again. Where did you go to school again?
Oh, Pebblebrook High School.
Pebblebrook High School. And that's a performing arts in Atlanta.
Yep.
Great.
And then after that, I went to college, University of the Arts, and I majored in dance. But when
I have to go back to like the mindset.
Yeah.
What made you go to college and major in dance and the arts? What made you say? Did your parents support you? Because I'm listening to you in a student's eye. Did a parent support you? Were you like, okay, I saw that, you know what, done. After you saw Chorus Line, I'm going to do Broadway. Like, what was it?
I think my parents knew it was the right fit. I think they knew that that was kind of my home. We've actually never really talked about it, but I can only guess based on their support that they never told me I could not do this, or that I could not go to school for dance, or they didn't tell me I couldn't move to New York.
And you wanted to dance? You did. So was it musical theater or was it dance?
No. So that was part of the problem. So I went as a dance major at the minor, and you know, at that time, university, it's been around, but not quite what it is these days.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot, and the program was amazing. My favorite part of it was a modern program, and it taught me so much. But what I had realized, it was that I was towards one of the best people in my class. And I don't say that to pat myself on the back. I say that in the sense of I still had a lot to do and work on and train, but I could only be pushed so much when there aren't 20 people better than you in the class.
Right.
So during that, I decided to ask the theater program if I could audition for the musical, which happened to have been A Chorus Line at the time. And
were you freaking out because you saw it on Broadway?
Yeah. And they told me no. No dance majors were allowed to audition. And so I decided to have a meeting with the head of the university.
Wait, tell me where you're at again. What's the name of it?
University of the Arts.
University of the Arts. Where is that?
In Philly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Great school. It really is a great school and great training, great program, especially now. But had a meeting with the principal and told her that if we're paying to come to the school and to train and to better ourselves, that you're doing a dance show this year and I should be able to audition for it. And they said no, so I left the school.
They said no.
Yeah.
Did they ever change? I love that you stood up for that, though. That I would have done the same thing. Did they ever change that rule?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. The truth is, it is a separate program, and I do understand that as an adult now. But where I was at in my life, because I wasn't fully being pushed by other dancers, I needed this other thing. So, you know, that happened. And also there was a moment in my life where I wanted to be a contemporary dancer and do concert work. And Roni Koresh was one of my teachers at University of the Arts. And he has an amazing modern dance company. And he kind of pushed me. He just pushed me and pushed me and pushed me and pushed me in class. And then one day he pulled me aside and said, hey, I know this is the trajectory that you have in mind for your career, but I just want to say you should be going towards musical theater. That should be your path. He's like, first of all, it's your type. Second of all, the modern world is so much more difficult to get into. And what he's meant by that, not that theater is not, there's my
wow. This is beautiful. This is gorgeous. Is this time where you're like trying to figure it out? And is where this guy's saying to you,
this is a little after. This photo is a little after. This photo is once I moved to New York.
Yeah. Oh, this was in Philly when somebody was telling you this?
Yes, this was in Philly. This was one of my teachers at the school.
Great.
And he basically ended up saying, you're financially, musical theater is going to support you more than company pay for per week and the hours and the discipline and this and that. And he just said, you know, I may not be as skilled as I need to be to make it successfully in the concert world. And I had to take that seriously and like really listen to him. Cause he didn't do that with just anybody. So, I decided to continue with that. And so I left the school thinking maybe I'd transfer to AMDA, New York, transfer to another school.
Yeah.
I was going to transfer. But then what happened is my mentor, Kenneth Green, took over casting for Disney. And that summer he called me and asked me if I wanted to go be the dance captain on the cruise ship. So that just took me definitely not going back to school that following year.
Okay, hold on, pause.
Yeah.
So you said your mentor, Kenneth Green. Two things just happened right now that's very important. That's always important for our lives. People that will say, that care and look at you and go, hey, let me tell you something about something else maybe, right? Now, how was Kenneth Green your mentor before this all happened?
Kenneth Green was my jazz teacher at Pebblebrook High School. And Tyler actually had him too.
Yeah.
And Kenneth was one of the first people to teach me a little bit more soul into jazz dance and this groove. And the discipline, hardcore discipline and what it took to be a dancer. And he also, one of the things that I, hope one day that I get to thank him for is that, at 14, 15 years old, he would say, Abbey, go up and do warm up, or Abbey, go and choreograph 5 counts of 8 to this section, or Abbey, go teach my class, or Abbey, there's a choreography job I want you to do. And he put me in an environment that forced me to start doing those things. Cause I guess he
saw it in you.
He just, he saw something in me or respected something in me and vice versa. But that's kind of what he definitely was one of the ones to push in that area.
Well, where is he now?
He's still in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he's doing right now, but he's still in Atlanta.
Did he stop teaching at the school?
He stopped. Well, actually, I think he does go. I think he does still teach there here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I like to say at Broadway Arts Community is like, just because it's the community. Alexis and I changed the name because it's all about community, right? Yeah. It's, the fact that we can pick up where we left off, and be able to do this is super cool. And that's pretty neat. That doesn't happen often. So maybe, hopefully he'll see this someday and he'll see your admiration and your gratitude for him, because putting you is going to talk about where we're going to get to of the creative life that you have now that you've been on the creative team so much. So when you did Disney and you got that a job on the cruise and you were already a dance captain, that's a hard gig. Dance captaining is hard. Were you swinging?
I was swinging and dance captaining. Yeah.
Can you explain what that is in case people don't know?
Yeah, so swinging it's not the same as an understudy or a cover. What it does is when you swing, you're mostly covering your ensemble cast. So every position in the ensemble's cast. And you know what? Sometimes it doesn't matter the gender. Sometimes it does. It just depends on the show and the structure of the show and the ensemble. But that was my first experience of swinging was for Disney. And, I was 19 years old when I got the job. And, I was the dance captain, really the only authority besides the stage manager on that ship to maintain the show at 19 years old with people who were like way older than me, 20s, 30s. And I thought I was like, oh no, I know what I'm doing. Here are your notes. And, I think that it was a huge learning curve for me. Yeah. And another grateful thing of my career is that job is because they really, it pushed me to understand what it was to be in a position, not even authority, but a leadership position. Thank you. Great word. Leadership position in that capacity. And that was a hard lesson to learn at 19, but a good one.
At 19, for sure. I mean, because I joined a company myself at 2021 as a swing. Both Alexis and I did at a swing. Yeah. And that was the hardest thing I've ever done. And I have tremendous respect for people who are swings. It's crazy. And dance captaining.
Yeah.
You and Alexis could be talking about that right now too, because she dance captained a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did that. That was really cool. You got some good lessons learned. Were you thinking, I want to be on stage, I want to be on stage all the time? Was that kind of running through your head?
No. No, the only thing is I know that my instinct as a human was always to be on the creative side. Like deep down, even if I didn't talk about it, that's why I loved being a dance captain or a swing, because I get to split the worlds of the creatives and the cast. It's like a perfect position to be in. So no.
Cool. So you're there, you're in New York City, and then what happens after that? You're still like, are you still focusing? Because, for listening right now, you just were the associate choreographer or associate director choreographer on Jagged Little Pill.
Associate choreographer on Jagged.
Yeah, associate choreographer on Jagged Little Pill on Broadway. And then Waitress, oh my God, hello. Like, wow. And just such a beautiful show to be a part of. I was saying that to Lauren. So we'll get to that. But I just love looking at this one little gem of part of your life of when did the Rockettes come to mind?
So after Disney, I moved to New York right away. So I always recommend people doing cruise ships because I really believe it gives you a strong foundation to be able to move yourself to New York if you are responsible with your money, and you can, start really pounding the pavement with auditions.
Okay, hold on 1 second. You said, I would like to hear that again about if you're good with your money. What would you recommend that to be? If I said to you, Abby, I'm going on a cruise line.
Yeah.
What do you suggest I do? Because then I want to go out. How do I save? What do I do?
Easy to save, because honestly, everything's paid for. So your job is to be responsible with that money and put it in your bank account and not go to shore and spend it on everything. So that's the really trick, especially if you want to move to New York and you don't want to get a job right away. You want to be able to audition and start working, as, an auditioner is basically what you're doing.
Your job is to audition.
Yes. Yeah.
So your job is to audition. So you're there, right. And then you want to have money to be able to pay for rent and classes and sustain yourself. Okay, great. It's just hard to hear that. I mean, I blew my money big time. Yeah, I wasn't good with money.
Yeah.
Were you good with money?
Was I good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to, I've had to be. I've had no other choice but to be good with money.
That's like Kelly King. Kelly King would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like I'm like good with money in the sense I'm living large. It's that like I'm
no.
Money, and I've been fine for 20 years as an artist in the most expensive city in the world.
Right.
Like,
right. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, it's a feat. It's incredible. Yes. Oh, Tyler's here. He says hi. I was waiting for him. I knew. Okay, so you're like, all right, so you're in New York City. And then what happens so you're there and you're like, what?
So then I'm there and I got a couple little shows to start off, which was very exciting. And then all of my friends, you're non-union, you wait in the lines. And I started meeting these girls and getting these girls. And we would go have lunch and, wait. And somebody had mentioned the Rockettes and said they were all going. And, I was like, maybe I'll do that. And so we all went. And, it was like, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
You're right here.
Like a lifetime ago.
Right? Is that you?
And that was a great cast. That line of women was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool. I'm like, I did it a few years before you. I wish we did it together. This one, I love her. What's her name again? I'm blanking.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, she's from New York, LA.
Starts with S. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed right now.
All right, whatever. We love her. We love you.
They're all, the whole line. It was an awesome line.
Yeah, super cool.
This was I think it was the parade, or we were doing some event. Anyhow, so we went to audition, and there's like over 500 girls who audition, and it's a crazy process and a hard process, and you wait and you wait and wait. And then one of my friends got a call saying she got it. I didn't get the call, and I was like, oh gosh, bummer. And then about 3 weeks after her call, I got a call telling me I got it. And
your first time. because you know how these girls right now. I mean, I have some students that are doing it. They've auditioned over and over and over again.
No, it's crazy. And the spots I think are slightly fewer these days, but so then I ended up going to Nashville for my first year as a Rockette.
Yeah.
Which was so exciting.
It's a great city.
And then my next 2 years were in New York.
That's super cool. I was in LA and then I was in New York and then that was it. Now, when you were doing it, did you love it so much, Abbey? Or was it a great job?
So this is what I will say about it. I am so grateful and lucky that I get to say that I was a Rockette and that I went through the trenches with these women and formed amazing relationships, which I wish I had held on to a little bit better. No other reason, but just life, everybody goes their own separate ways. But I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of all that, I accomplished during those years. I will say it's the hardest job I've ever done. And I mean that in a way of like what it takes to be an athlete in a pro football team, like that kind of work and discipline that is a little different than what you think of being an artist on stage, on a Broadway stage that has a bit more freedom and artistry. So it isn't that. But it's also an amazing experience. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the awesome things are not only the women, but the benefits of the job. You get, dance classes paid for, you get your gym membership paid for, you get 401k, you can go back to school. They give you a stipend for college. Like there's so many perks.
A lot of perks. My favorite, I think I was just too young. I was 19 and I was 18 and 19 when I did it. And I think I enjoyed it. I'm the same way. I feel like, oh my God, I love the whole being a Rockette is an honor. It really is an honor because it's just an historical thing and a dancer. But my favorite, did you ever do the side gig job where you popped out of the dressing rooms and did it?
I never did that.
That was my side gig when I was at AMDA.
Oh my God, good for you.
Yeah, I had finished the Rockettes. I went back to school to AMDA after because I wanted to be an actress. Yeah. And I was like, but I would go on the weekends and pop out of a dressing room.
So funny. Meet a Rockette.
Yeah. So you do the Rockettes and then you get Broadway. So
just to say like this, I like talking about this when there are people who are interested in learning about the business. So this is T for two. So I'm just going to chime in on this story is that when I was a Rockette for 3 years, that my first time they asked me to come after my first year as Nashville, they asked me to, I didn't audition for it, but they were doing this new show called Carnival, which was a new spring show. And they were only hiring 36 women, which at that time was a small amount because there were so many companies everywhere. And they had told me somebody had just pulled out last minute, rehearsal had already started, and they needed a swing. I was like, absolutely, I will be there. Done. I had really only swung one other show before, which was Disney, where I only had like 6 women this was 36 women I had to swing. And I was already late to rehearsal. There was
36. You did not have 36 people you had to cover.
Oh yeah, 36.
That's not
not only is it not right, but it's like every woman has a different count because it's all peel off. And then not only that, but it's like you're heeling this line, towing that line, still pushing the yellow line.
I didn't even know what any of that meant, Abbey. Like, seriously, they would say toe the line, heel the seam. One time, Linda Haberman looked at me and she said, Chryssie, what are you supposed to be on right now? And I went, I don't know. I was 18.
You got that info, girl.
I don't know. I was like, and I said to her in rehearsal, I'm a competition dancer and I can just like totally like fall into place. Like I know what she was like. No. Get your book. I mean, she was like, get your book, write your numbers down. Y'all got to write your numbers down. Keep going.
Yeah. So anyhow, so that happened, and Graziella Danielle was the director choreographer of that show. along with Mark Dendy. And so I did that. And then at one point, Radio City was doing another spring show, which we all auditioned for, and it was called Sinatra. And Des McAnuff directed it, and Casey Nicola was choreographing it. And I got
if you don't know these names, you need to research them. If you don't know these names that you're hearing, ever, always research them. Okay, keep going.
So anyhow, so Des and Casey hired me for Sinatra, which was, to this day, one of my all-time favorite shows. The movement was amazing. Casey's work in it was awesome.
Can you see it online at all?
I actually don't know if you, I don't know if you can see it online. I've never looked it up. Sinatra.
Sinatra on YouTube. Okay, keep talking. I'll look it up. Let's see.
So those were my Radio City experiences. And then my last Radio City experience outside of the Christmas show was we were doing the Tony Awards, and they asked a few girls to come do the Tonys, and we auditioned, and Jerry Mitchell was the director choreographer of that opening number.
Okay, can you tell them who Jerry Mitchell is, what he's known for?
So Jerry Mitchell was a Broadway dancer for a very long time, amazing career, then switched over to choreography, and then switched over to directing and choreographing. I think the last thing you would know him for is Kinky Boots, maybe the last thing.
Yeah.
It's great. Legally Blonde. He's done so many wonderful shows on Broadway.
Okay, great.
Did you find it?
I did.
Shut up.
I totally did. Like, hold on one second. We'll just throw a little bit of a clip. Let me see.
What number is it?
New York City Spectacular Finale.
Oh, huh. Interesting.
Is that it? Hold on. Maybe that's not it. Hold on. Sinatra Rockettes. Rockettes, New York City. You know what? It's just in New York City. Is there like can you give me a name of the Sinatra?
It was called Sinatra.
Is it the Rockettes New York Particular Grand Finale? I don't know. I feel like it's not it. You know what? I don't know. We'll move forward. Try to find it on Sinatra because I don't want to. Okay. So, So you're with Jerry Mitchell. We're talking about Jerry Mitchell.
Yeah. So during that time frame, we were in rehearsals for the opening number for the Tonys with Hugh Jackman and the Rockettes, which was a very exciting moment. And I was walking through Ripley Greer, and I see Casey Nicola, who he's walking down the hallway, and I say, "Hey, Case." He's like, "Hey." He's like, "I'm auditioning people for a new show, and I think I'd love for you to come in." And I was like, "Oh my God, I would love that. It would be awesome." He's like, "It's called Spamla. I'm not really sure what it's going to be and all these things, and it's my first show." And I was like, "Casey, I'm there. I'll be there. Absolutely." And that is how I got my first Broadway show. And that
just by hanging out, just like by being with whatever.
No, it was because I had done Sinatra with him, and he had seen me and my work ethic, what I brought to the table. And it was a relationship that was formed through Radio City, through rocketing, short rehearsal, but those relationships really matter. And then my second Broadway show I got because of Graziella Danielle. I ended up being her swing in the second show because I was her swing in the first show at Radio City. So those things really matter, those relationships and the impressions you leave on people.
And what do you think? Do you know what it is about you and your work ethic? Because we all have our strengths. What do you think are some of your strong suits that you bring to the plate that people remember to bring you on board like that again, that people can develop?
Well, as a dancer, I will say that I think, we went to a very disciplined high school, and it taught us very early on about work ethic and discipline. And still to this day, I find that to be one of the most important attributes to a performer. And, depending on who you're in the room with, people won't tolerate stuff. I won't tolerate stuff. Other people may be a little bit more tolerant, but I won't, because this is our job. This is our livelihood. And yes, we are passionate about it. And yes, we are good about it and our heart's involved, but it's still a job. And it's still an amazing, hard discipline that we should respect.
Respect. So can you give an example of when what you won't tolerate?
Cell phones on the floor, talking while your choreographer or director is talking, talking in the middle of a rehearsal, just joking around, not being full out, coming late to rehearsal, just not having that disciplined
Respect.
and respect, and things that you shouldn't even have to ask to put your phone down. Shouldn't even have to ask to not have your cell phone on the stage. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that still happening even on Broadway?
Oh, girl. Yes. That stuff happens. It happens, but you know what? Hopefully it's shifting. Things are changing.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got to keep teaching. We got to keep educating. I mean, the times are different. The times are changing. Tyler's like full out. Well, listen, that's what we're drawn to. I mean, Abbey, I was drawn to you. You're full out. I'm full out. I'm no joke. Tyler's no freaking joke. Alexis is no joke. There's a certain breed of people. And not that it's no joke. We can have a great time. We can laugh.
Exactly right.
Till the best.
Mm-hmm.
But we have immense respect for each other's work.
Mm-hmm.
And let's play and let's do it, let's do it right, kind of thing. So I like to hear that. That's so great. So you did your Broadway shows. So exciting. You work with some fabulous people. I have this picture, but it's not as great, but I love this, you guys. This is her with Hugh Jackman. What was he like?
Oh yeah. The sweetest. Everything you think he's going to be, he is.
What? Hold on. Let me get right here.
Yeah.
Hello. That is amazing. Oh my God. This is gorgeous. Done it forever and ever and time again. What's her name?
Yep. Starts with T.
Oh my God. We're so okay. We're moving on.
I'm old. It's just my brain. I'm just
girl, we are the same age. I'm like, Tanner?
Nope.
Gosh, oh my God. Too many people. Okay. So, all right. So now you're like, what hits it that you're like, okay, because now I just really want to just talk about now your present. The fact in the last, like, I love it. You have, directed and choreographed so many shows, just honestly with Jagged Little Pill and Waitress with Lauren Lataro and as the associate choreographer. I'd like to know the difference between, like, I mean, it's really neat. I love seeing this, you guys. Like, sometimes you guys don't see people's resumes, but it's literally, she's got director choreographer resume. She's got the associate director choreographer resume, and then she's got her performance resume. And right there, I can see this is a well-rounded, this is like a well-rounded, holy cow, has worked with so many different people. I could call upon them and say what it would be like to work with Abbey. I want her to come and direct and choreograph a show for me. So I'd love for me and for our audience, what is it about the creative side that pulled you in? How did you get pulled into it? And just talk a little bit about this trajectory you're on right now.
Sure. So it's not so cut and dry, yet it is cut and dry. I remember specifically when it all happened. I was, always the person who would want to do pre-pro for people for free, always wanted to like be the dance captain of the show, always wanted to have my hands in as much as I could on the other side. I even remember during Spamalot, our associate choreographer at the time was Darlene Wilson. And I remember going, God, she's so cool. I want her job. She's got the best job on Broadway.
Why? What was it about it
that she was in an authoritative position, had a creative say, got to discuss creative things with the director and choreographer, but the pressure wasn't all on her. She got to be in this middle ground of like the way the reviews aren't going to come out and say associate choreographer ruined the show.
Exactly. No.
So, but I just loved the way that she was looked at by Casey, their partnership, their connection, and the respect they both had for each other. So I remember that. And then I remember specifically during Smash, I was working on Smash and
the television show. Tell us what it is, because Go check it out. It's such a fun show.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's a fun show about theater in New York City. It's on Broadway. Really great. But anyhow, so I remember being there and was assisting Josh on some certain movement for mostly the Maryland stuff. And
Josh Burgas.
Josh Burgas, and doing some pre-pro for all of that, and then dancing in the show. And I remember just thinking, we were standing on stage. You actually have a picture of the episode that it all happened on.
Really?
Yes, that episode specifically, I just kept thinking, what are all those people on the other side of the camera doing? Like, what's that woman doing over there? What's her job? And what's that guy doing over there? Like, I wanted to be all of them. I didn't want to be on the stage with the camera on me. Yes, that one. Yeah.
Where are you?
I am squatting right
Yes.
next. Yeah.
Cute little wink you got going on.
Yep.
And that's Josh Burgas.
Yep. And those are the writers. And then those are our amazing women. And that's Sean Hayes in the center. Yeah. It was a really fun episode. But I just remember I just kept thinking, God, I want to do whatever they're doing over there. And that was kind of like the turning point for me. And then my next big audition was a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. And Alex Timbers was directing, and Lee Wilkins, his partner, Josh Rhodes, and was choreographing, and auditioned for it. And it was very exciting. And it basically, during the auditions, I just kept thinking, oh, I'd hire her. This girl is awesome. I would put her as the twins. And my brain was just like needing, just shifting on its own.
Wow.
And I think that ultimately for me, it was just like, again, not that I could not keep getting better as a performer, because you always can. You will never be done. But I had learned what I needed to from being a performer. And now it was time for me to move on and conquer another challenge that I knew nothing about. And my brain was just needing something else.
Yeah, because you didn't want, can I just say, this is probably the end of this. What was this from? You didn't want to do this anymore.
Oh, God.
I love it.
I love it, too. It was amazing.
Spam-A-Lot, right?
Yeah, that was Spam-A-Lot.
Spam-A-Lot on Broadway, right? I mean, like, what? This is amazing, right? But it's neat. You went from this to going, I'm ready. I'm ready for a shift.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. So then how did you make that shift? Who did you talk to? How did
It's hard. I'm not going to lie. When you're shifting in this business, you think it's going to be easier because you've been doing it for 15 years and everybody knows you, casting knows you, directors, choreographers, everybody knows you. But it's not. It's not easy because you are basically starting all over again. You're starting at square one.
Yeah.
And, those producers that I was a showgirl for aren't going to pay $18 million to trust some girl that was a showgirl in their show to choreograph their show. They need to look at me in a whole new light now. So that transition was a big one. And, I reached out to everybody. I reached out to Casey and Lauren and everybody Josh Burgas multiple times. Many people to say, I want to assist. I'm looking to do the other side. I want to learn. I'll do it for free. And the next few years of my life, I was basically an intern getting paid no money just to really accomplish the other side.
How did you survive that? How did you survive that?
It was hard. It was really
hard. Did you have a job? How did you do that?
Yeah. So again, I was like pretty good with money, but once I stopped performing on Broadway, which was a great salary, and I was living fine, to getting, free work or $250 a week for my $2,000 a month rent, it started to add up and go, wait a minute. But I also knew I did not want to go back to performing. I had cut ties. It was like cold turkey. It will take me forever to be a choreographer if I still dance. So I got a bar.
Same thing.
What?
Lauren said the same thing. She was like, you think it would have, she said it took her 10 years.
Yeah, because she still performed. Lauren was still performing.
I thought she stopped performing, but I can't remember.
Now,
No.
she was still performing while she was trying to choreograph, and she was doing great things, but it took her probably a little bit longer
Because
just
of
because of that.
yeah.
Anyhow, I got a bartending job, which was really hard. My first job in New York City, you know, in my 30s, and like, oh God, but it was what I know needed to happen. So.
And are you glad you did?
Oh, sweet Jesus, yes. Yes, no questions asked.
It's all worth it. See, like if you got caught up, so here's something some people would get caught up in is the ego. Ego of I'm 30 years old. I shouldn't have to be going to bartending and working for free. I've done all this and that and da 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 da. And then all of a sudden you have missed out big time.
Yep.
You never know what's happening in your future. You went with an open book. You went with an open mind and an open heart to learn.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And you did. And so when did you start? When did that first gig happen? Like maybe with Lauren. I know you had a good stride with Lauren.
Yeah.
When did that hit? And did you start to feel like, or you were getting paid a little bit where you were like, okay, this is feeling right?
What I'll tell you is that, you know, Lauren finally took me up on it. She's like, yeah, I need an associate for a show at Bucks County. This 4-person show. It wasn't like she was going to need much work from me, but it started our relationship. And then we worked consistently for about 3+ years together as her one and only associate. And it was an awesome dynamic, awesome relationship. We just clicked instantly as creatives. And
Did you know her before?
We had done Spamalot together. We went to the Broadway Theater Project together.
Which is how Alexis knows Lauren too. Wait, I don't even think we made that connection on the T for Two. Alexis went to BTP.
Did we go together? Lauren only went 1 year and was with me.
What year did you go?
Yeah.
Well, Alexis is a year younger than us.
Was she in high school when she went?
Yeah. Yeah. She got the job. She got Fosse from Anne herself. Anne Ryan King gave her the job in the stairwell. Same thing to Tyler. Got offered the job in person.
She called me one day, Annie, and she was like, hey, that's when we did encores.
Yes.
She did No Strings at encores and called me and asked me if I would be one of her dancers. She hadn't seen me dance since Broadway Theater Project. And I did that with her. Crazy. Wild.
Y'all, Broadway Theater Project is another amazing, it's not run by Annie Ranking anymore, but it still is out there, and it's another beautiful performing arts project, you know, and it's another company like ours doing what we're doing, but Anne Ryan King was running the show, and I just can't believe I didn't know about this.
Crazy.
Super envious of all of you that knew.
So crazy.
Oh my God. Okay, so you started doing it and it started feeling right. And when did you get the call, and because I know for myself, I've also been doing a little bit more directing and choreographing until this COVID thing happened. And to do it in high school is one thing, but to work, like I got to work on the Fifth Avenue Theater and act out there in Seattle, and they were really great for me. But you're right, being an associate definitely takes the pressure off. Being the choreographer, whole nother ballgame.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Maybe your first couple experiences that you've had that you were just like, yes.
Yeah. So Lauren and I worked together, did some shows as her associate. And then at that time, I had gone back home to Atlanta, to the Atlanta Lyric Theater to see somebody in a show, my girlfriend Meg Gillantine, to see her in a show, and introduced myself to the artistic director there and said, I want to choreograph for you. Didn't know what I was doing, but just said it. And he said, great. He said, we're doing Spamalot. I said, funny enough, I know Spamalot. And so that's how I got my first choreography job. And so I did.
You went up to the resident director and said, I want to choreograph for you.
Yeah, the artistic director, yeah.
I'm the artistic director. Fantastic.
And
that's how you do it. I mean,
it was definitely a learning curve. And I look back at some of that footage. I'm like, that choreography was good. And then I look back at other numbers and I'm like, yeah, I could tell I did not know how to structure this massive 10-minute production number. So like, it was a great learning curve for me.
It always is, right?
Yeah. And then Lauren and I, Lauren got the call that she needed to go in and audition for Waitress. And she's like, girl, I need you by my side. Let's do this. And I was like, all right, let's do this. So we had to audition for the show. She came up with 3. I think we did 3 numbers and got Waitress. She got Waitress and brought me along with her, which was very exciting. And that just took a whole nother trajectory of my career.
And you just never know, right? You never know if a show is going to do that or not. But
Yeah.
you just do it for the love of the work. And doing Sarah Bareilles' lyric, holy macaroni. She's like a queen.
Yeah.
I really think she's a queen.
Yeah, no, she is a queen. You are 100% right about that.
Because I just think her heart, and I mean that in the sense of not in the diva world, but in the sense of like, I have never felt music in words like the way she sings them and the way she writes them.
But that's who she is as a human being. She's a really connected human being.
Can't lie.
Cares about people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you could be doing that kind of work and not be that way. That's incredible. And so now, has it been worth it? Is it, are you just like, this is cool? Like, what is it now? Like, oh my God, what is it now for you right now? Let's be real. It's COVID.
Let's be real.
Let's be real. I don't know. Nobody knows.
I don't know. Trying to get through it and survive. And, I don't know. Thank God I had a busy summer. Somehow I was lucky enough to still work. And, the fall hasn't been too terrible. I just choreographed something for Broadway for Biden, which was really great with Lauren. Actually, she choreographed something as well. And, we've got some stuff coming up for Jagged Little Pill that, we're having to organize. So that keeps my creative juices flowing, but nothing like what my usual years are like.
Well, what is a usual year for you like now, Lauren? Abby. It's called Lauren.
Well, it depends. It all depends. But like last year was, I had just choreographed something with Diane Paulus called Extraordinary. And then right after that, we started rehearsals for Jagged Little Pill.
Right.
And so that takes up your whole, basically year,
Yeah, when you're working on a show, for sure.
Yeah.
Jagged Little Pill, how was that for you?
Oh, so exciting. It was awesome. Really, it was Alanis Morissette, Diablo Cody, Diane Paulus, and a new choreographer. His name was Sidney Larby, who's from Belgium, and his work is amazing. You should follow him on Instagram because his work is phenomenal. And this was his first Broadway show. So Diane asked me to come on board to help support him just because I had done it before and he had not. So I came on board as the associate choreographer to help support from the beginning of the process. Yeah,
that's great.
Which was very exciting. And it was really exciting to work with a new choreographer. He's so different than anybody I've worked with in such an awesome, profound way. So yeah, it was exciting.
What are just a couple, just as we wrap this up, it's just been so lovely to hear your journey, man. It's incredibly inspiring. So what a couple takeaways, what would your takeaway be from, give me a takeaway, 2 words or something for Broadway, for performing on Broadway. What did you take away for being a performer on Broadway?
Well, it's really, when I think about or I look back at photos, it's just an exciting life and it's really fun. And the thing is, it's really fun if you make it, right? And so not everybody has that opportunity and not everybody gets quite as lucky because most of the people who are going to New York are equally as trained, equally as disciplined. And it really is, if you only knew what goes on behind the creative table, you would really understand that it's not always about talent or there's so many layers to the equation.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Can you explain that to like some students or actors or, what would you say to us? Sure.
I know that I always thought, well, if I was good enough, they would have hired me. It doesn't matter if I'm too tall. It doesn't matter if I'm this. It doesn't matter if, I'm good enough. It all matters. It all matters. It all matters because, you have to fill, first of all, if you're starting a brand new show, right? You need different types of energy, personality, visual, all different to create an entire world, right?
Right.
You're replacing somebody, And sometimes that means as simple as fitting into their costume. I don't care if you're talented. If these two people, this person's more talented, but this girl's kind of there and fits into the costume, she's going to get the job. So there's so many different elements to hiring.
So how does that, okay, so I get that. And I'm an actor. I have Legna, one of our other students, is also listening in right now. We're actors. So then if you're like, well, I don't know, what is the mindset that maybe you could help me with that going, if I don't get it now, well, what if I never get it? And
Sure.
If it's not really about talent, then what am I doing?
Here's the thing. It is about talent. So when I say that, you have to be at a professional level. If you are not, that's not even part of the equation. I'm just taking you out of that equation.
Okay.
If you're somebody who is skilled, trained, been doing this for your life, then you should be auditioning for these Broadway shows, and you should be coming down to the end final group. Once you're there, that's what I'm talking about, is the challenge of the casting process.
It is crazy. I mean, that's been something interesting for me too, to go, it has nothing to do with you. God, I would love to hire you, but it's just for instance, I just did the auditions because I'm new on board with this, right? And I did auditions for Mamma Mia. I saw the choreograph Mamma Mia, and we literally, it was for this sweet theater up here in Highlands and in New York. Nobody had any clue. None of the actors had any clue that all 3 shows had to be the same cast.
That's right.
And it was Bright Star.
Yeah.
It was Will Rogers Follies and Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
3 completely different. And they were what you don't know is also that they thought that their theater was going to be renovated and they were going to be in a bigger space, and they had a fire and that didn't happen. So I'm having to, so I said, as a choreographer, I had no say. I was like, you know what? I love this guy and I like that girl. They're great. You know what? You just tell me who you want me to have, because I have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, especially for summer stock. It's really tricky.
Hard. It's tricky. So, and then what are your takeaways from, what is the takeaway from Waitress?
Waitress.
What was that feeling?
What?
Sorry. Go ahead. I'll finish. Keep going.
I was just going to say how powerful collaboration can be.
Yeah. You saw that across the board with everybody?
I did. Yes.
That's amazing.
Especially my partnership with Lauren, but yes, across the board. That was my experience.
What was your experience when the first night with an audience and you were like, oh
my God, we were so excited. Lauren was like, we were so nervous.
Of course.
Nerve-wracking.
Why is it nerve-wracking? Because you're working so hard in a show. You think it's probably amazing, but you don't know.
Yeah, but you're putting your exposed self up onto that stage for people to clap or not clap. It's like torture. We are as artists, we love being tortured. There's a part of us that are just I don't get it sometimes.
True. True. And what about Jagged Little Pill?
Takeaway from Jagged is doing work that matters is important to me. Being a part of a story that matters and makes a difference and has people talking. Conversation starting with the audience. Yeah.
Abbey.
Yes.
So I see you as this amazing, strong, powerful woman, and I haven't seen you in a long time. And when we do, it's another. I want our students to know that you can have these relationships that can happen for a show, and then life happens, and then you see, and you're like, oh my God, let's get sushi, and we go and have sushi together in New York, and it always feels like no time has passed. And I'm thoroughly, as another woman in this field, I'm very proud of you and proud for you for the work that you're doing and the work you're going to continue to do. And I just wanted to. Oh, you will. Oh, you will. You will. No, you will. I mean, it's no doubt. My mom used to always say, hard work pays off no matter what. It may not go in the right direction that you feel, but it's going to pay off in some way when you know you're like, I've done the work. I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. But this last thing that we like to send you off with is for you to go back and look at this this really sweet, lovely young girl, right? The one that we all have inside of us. And when you look at her, I am curious, what would you say to her about her future life to come? What would you say?
It's so emotional. It makes me want to tear up. I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a hard one.
You can just tell her anything. What do you want to tell her about the future?
It's going to be a good one. I'll tell you that. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a hard one, but it's going to be a good one. And you're resilient. And that's what it takes. Yeah. And that smile, it's just like so happy. It's funny because I want to say she as if it wasn't me, but look at that. She's so happy and joyous.
You're so happy.
Yeah. Crazy.
I just love you. This is why we do what we do.
Yeah, that's right.
We connect to the inner.
Yes, you're doing such an amazing thing, you both, and it's really the students and the people who tune in are very lucky to be able to have this as a resource. You ladies are doing that, so.
Well, it's all about the community. I know I can tell you right now, I cannot do this without people that have good hearts. So we love you. We thank you. Yay, T for 2. This was very, very insightful.
Nice. Cheers.
Cheers. You don't have to go anywhere. I'm just going to end the broadcast. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us.